felt 2 sizes too small for my brain.
Max Payne. I envy your name.
And the killer was smiling.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Frankie the Bat Niagara.
Niagara, as in you cry a lot? He had a baseball bat and I was tied to a chair. Pissing him off was the smart thing to do.
I really like this part. So he says he woke up in a bad dream. So he didn't come from a bad dream. He woke up into a bad dream. So he feels like the real life is the dream, while the nightmare that he relives over and over again is the real life. His brain is mixing the two. And this is why I think before I said diesel punk is like an idealistic kind of thing. And I'm kind of wrong about that. And I had to admit that recently. Diesel punk is not idealistic, it is monistic, meaning the material and the ideal are both one and the same, but two sides of what is called a third substance. So both of these are technically fake, and the third substance is the real thing, but we have no idea what to call the third substance. There is no real name for it. It's something beyond our comprehension. And I think this is why Max wakes up into a bad dream, because whether it's material or ideal, whether it's a dream or real life, there is no difference in how absurd it is. It's still wacky and wonky and not real to him. This real life is not real. It's not real life to begin with. It's almost like a hyperactive surrealness, beyond real, and he's not really sure if it is real in the first place. And that's why surrealism is a big part of something like noir. You want to have surrealism in your noir to make it more entertaining, but the idea of surrealness is you have themes and you have symbols, and these make sense, but then the real events don't if you take them literally. So for an example, something like Eraserhead has a guy whose child is this weird lizard alien thing. So symbolically, a lizard alien thing as a child makes sense, but literally it makes no sense at all. So nonsensical. But if you take it into a symbolic meaning, there you go, that makes sense. So that's what surreal is about. It's where the symbolism and the themes, they make sense, they're very clear, but then the literal interpretation makes no sense at all. And then he says, Max Payne, I envy your name. So already we know that Niagara is a bit of a sinner because he's sinning with envy. And his picture is really great. So as Max is still under the influence of Valkyr, he sees his gray, he sees his greenness. Well, it's gray and green, but he sees his green like wash over the person. The bat is like kind of running down with blood, like a Niagara Fall, if you will. And then his killer is smiling, but the killer's face looks like a clown kind of thing. So he kind of sees him as a clown, like a demonic clown, and he sees as a killer is smiling. So killer is smiling like a clown, but then next moment he's not smiling at all. He's like with a big frown, head upturned, and then cigarette inside of the mouth. So he says, pleased to meet you, I'm Frankie the Bat Niagara. And I'm not really sure how he fits into the whole mythology thing. I haven't really figured where he comes from or what kind of thing he is. I think he's kind of like a non sequitur. I don't know what baseball bats had to do with Norse mythology, honestly. I don't know what cartoons had to do with that. Maybe he's a goon of Loki, something like that. Maybe he's considered like a frost giant. A bat could be like a battle axe kind of thing, or like a hammer, warhammer. But he calls himself Niagara. Niagara's supposed to be a waterfall. So Max goes, oh, Niagara, that means you cry a lot? It's like, oh, you're a big baby, aren't you? You little bitch, aren't you? He's trying to make the guy angry, while Max is tied to a chair and he gets his brains knocked around the skull. I love the sound effects. Oh man, did you hear that splat? I love it.
Nothing wrong with a little laugh now and then. Take me, for example. I love to watch cartoons. Cartoon violence is a fascinating thing. Let's take a break. I need to take a leak and maybe grab a cold one at the bar. Don't worry. I'll be back to finish this off. And then, it's checkout time.
You play, you pay, you bastard. He swaggered out, and the door clanged shut behind him, locks clicking into place.
Niagara tells Max There's nothing wrong with a little laugh now and then. Because he's like, huh, you think you're funny? Well, I guess it's okay to laugh at you while beating the shit out of you. And he's like, I like cartoons. I like the violence in cartoons. It's a kind of a weird moment. The guy has like a really blinding white shirt, but no blood on him, but like a bunch of blood on his baseball bat. I love the idea of like a baseball bat covered in blood. It means that he's been using it for like a long time, and surprisingly it hasn't broke. And somehow Max is able to survive like 3 or 4 hits in the head with a baseball bat. He's like, all right, I need to take a fat piss. I'm gonna grab a beer, but I'm gonna kill you in a moment. And I don't know why he didn't kill him first. Like, he just wanted to see him suffer, I guess. Just wanted to beat the shit out of him before he actually kills him. I guess if he didn't escape at this point, he would just knock your block off like Kanye West did to Carlos Mencia in that South Park episode. But there's something about Loki in this one. I'm feeling like a Loki-ness, you know, a Loki-ethian kind of thing going on. Because one thing that really caught my eye was the idea of cartoons. The guy likes to watch cartoons, and he thinks cartoon violence is fascinating. Around this time, there was the comic book The Mask, and then the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. And in The Mask, you have Loki, and he uses... oh, it's the Mask of Loki. And the character Stanley Ipkiss uses cartoony violence to kill people in real life. And that's a really fascinating thing, because usually in cartoons, people don't die, they don't get splatted, but in the real life, if you hit somebody with an anvil, they are like in the hospital. You give somebody dynamite, they blow up into a bunch of chunks. If you have somebody like fly into like a wall like 100 miles an hour, like they just get splatted. I don't know how many other deaths they had in that kind of thing, but you get the idea. Cartoon violence is a completely different way of thinking than physics. And I actually have been studying cartoon violence just to understand how a cartoon differs from real life. And there's a big history. There's actually like a big like Bible of cartoon physics that Disney made back in the old days, and they'll be like, all right, if this thing happens, then that thing happens. If this thing goes on, then that thing goes on. And Roger Rabbit, yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that movie made references to that big Bible that they have for cartoonists. And then he says he swaggered out, and the door clanks shut behind him, locks click into place. So now Max is locked into this room by himself. So they're like, Max is never going to get out of this area. And Max is like, well, time to escape. That's what Niagara gets for using a wooden chair.
Everyone makes mistakes. Mine hadn't been to crack jokes about the goon with the bat. He'd have cracked my skull regardless. It hadn't even been to trust a girl with a gun. I had blindly gone after the first bad guy on my hit list when I should have been aiming further up the ladder, at the head of the Punchinello family. I couldn't bring myself to be pissed at Mona. Guess I had a soft spot for a pretty face. But when somebody decides to play baseball with your head, you tend to get sore.
Oh man, I love that part. I love that kind of face he makes. So he says, everyone makes mistakes. Mine was not because, you know, like, the only mistake he made, that he feels like he made, is that he didn't go higher up on the ladder. He blindly went to the first guy on his hit list, which was Jack Lupino. He's like, nah, I was going after small fish. I need to go after the big fish, the big fish. I need to go after the head of the Puccinello family. And that's when he says, I couldn't even be mad at Mona for trying to get me out of the way. She kind of uses him. So the chain of events is that Mona drugs you, and then you get captured by somebody, and you don't even know who captured you. You're just captured by some guy called, Mr. Niagara. Mr. Niagara who needs Viagra. Diarrhea. That's the... It's like a stupid joke like Chester the Molester. And he says, I guess I have a soft spot for a pretty face. So he's like, yep, I'm falling for this bitch. I am falling in love with this girl who drugged me, slipped me one of the most vicious Mickeys in the whole world with Valkyr. And he's like, the only person I am mad at is the Niagara guy, because he slapped me around with a baseball bat, with his baseball bat shaped cock. Slapped me around with a baseball bat shaped cock, and then he's sore. So right now he's feeling like Mona might have had a good idea, and I think Mona did have a good idea, because we're gonna find out later how this whole thing works. But Mona drugs Max to then have Max get captured, and I think that she used him so that she can find Puccinello's like hideout, because if she didn't do this, then they wouldn't have gotten extra information. So let's see how valid this theory is. I don't remember exactly, but let's see.
They had dragged me back to the basement of Lupino's hotel. I was beaten, bruised, and blue. I felt like the chair I had broken to get free.
Okay, so that's what happens. He got dragged back to the basement of Lupino's hotel. So Jack Lupino, Fenrir, he had a hotel. The hotel was blown up, by the Russians. And now he feels like he is a chair that broke. He's like, oh, I'm so dizzy and stuff. I had my guns removed. I got nothing. So how am I supposed to get out of here? And boy, oh boy, do I hope it doesn't bug out again like last time. Previously, this game had it where enemies were stuck to the wall. So every single enemy was bunched up into one area. And I have every single goddamn enemy coming at me all at once. And I only had a baseball bat. And I did not know how I got out of this situation, but it's going to be hell on earth if I have to do this again. And then you can see the baseball bat right there. It's like, look, there's a baseball bat. You have to pick this up. It's kind of shiny. I guess it's kind of noticeable. It is blended in, but in a weird way. So now we're back at Lupino's hotel. So we're back to where we were. And we're going to see some more stuff. Like, we're going to see the police tape and yada 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 everywhere. It's going to be good. It's going to be cool.
Where am I? I'm over here now.
All I had was Niagara's bat, sticky with my own blood.
Niagara's baseball bat shaped cock all sticky.
It's covered in banana juice.
Without a gun, I'd be no match for Frankie's men. I'd have to play hide and seek with them.
Sure, Max, play hide and seek. Play hopscotch while you're at it. This is not the time for games. Frankie the Spanky Niagara is washing his baseballs in the sink as we speak.
We'll take care of it.
So don't tell anybody, but I died like 60 times trying to do this because these guys keep getting stuck in the wall. Yeah, like that. So it's like a million guys just being piled up into one single location and I have no ammo at all. I can hear a shotgun off in the distance. Good thing his aim sucks.
Good. I got you too. Good. I'm Andrew Dice Payne. You hear me? I hear me.
He's got my toe! Oh god, one more shot and I'm done for. Alright. Whew. Barely made it. I'm barely making it. Oh Jesus Christ. How many more guys are coming? Oh my god, my heart's beating so fast. I gotta find some health. Also, did you see him miss at point blank range?
Run your shot at
I got 69 ammo. Nice. I can't really tell this is a victory since I am not at all in good shape right here. I have like no health, no ammo. My character's limping. There's a million empty boxes. Why you have all these boxes if there's nothing in them? Empty, empty, empty. Ooh, here we go. Finally, a painkiller. Now I'm only balls deep in blood, so that's okay. I can do this. I got this. Everything's under control. There's gonna be a guy around here, I think. I bet it's two guys.
Another newspaper caption for a murder scene.
I guess I could get the stuff later. Let's read the newspaper real quick.
Frankie had left his calling card, a Captain Baseball Bat Boy strip, next to a sewer passage filled with bodies.
You'd better not mess with Captain Baseball Bat Boy. Even my arch enemy, Bicycle Helmet Girl, swoons at the sight of me. Aha!
There were enough corpses to put a mass murderer to shame.
This part's a little bit weird. I think it's just there for comedic effect. You have a blood-stained newspaper with a comic book strip on it. The Captain Baseball Bat Boy thing becomes a big thing in the second game and completely forgotten in the third game, but I like it. It's charming. It shows like a cartoony nature to things, and there's something about Baseball Bat Boy that I think there's some kind of symbolic thing going on, because his whole nature is supposed to be where he's very like confident. He's supposed to be like a charming guy. He's saying like even my enemies are in love with me. And then I guess baseball, or what was her name? Bicycle Helmet Girl? Helmet Head Girl? She Big 2 Helmet Head Anteater, which There's a helmet girl and there's a helmet head girl and anteater boy. But she scares him, I think. And then also I like how this is like next to a sewer passage, so it's like this is just garbage, this is trash, this is diarrhea. As there were enough corpses to put a mass murder to shame, so it's like there's a lot of corpses in this sewer trap, and it would put a mass murder to shame, so it's like this guy's killed a buttload of people. Then again, maybe the whole point of the comic is like, no matter how offensive and charismatic a man is, a defensive woman will still defeat him. But I'm probably looking too deep into a comic book about baseball bat boy, Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants and the Turlet of Doom. Indian man reaches into Captain Underpants' chest, pulls out turd. Holy Diago, holy Diago, holy Diago. Turns a person to flames. That's the dumbest thought in my head so far. Oh my god, I'm yucking it up in the elevator and they send like 2 guys with shotguns right there in my face. You guys are just gonna like send out a shotgun right when the thing opens? That's brutal. This is like the Dark Souls and Max Payne games. Anybody here? Oh, a grenade! Where's that coming from? I heard a grenade coming from somewhere. There's always a girdering shotgun like right behind me. Why is why does that keep happening? Oh. I clear them out very well. Clear them out by name, clear them out very well by reputation. I guess it's like some kind of wood shop, and then they use it as like a torture chamber, because all those dried out blood over here. Put the guy's head into the vise. I'm gonna squeeze out the cider from your Adam's apple. Oh wait, these are pigs. Are they torturing pigs? Is it like a cop reference? Puts a pig's head on the vise. Shut up, you sack of shit. Dude, I'm just having stupid thoughts right now. Valkyr, Valkyr, Valkyr. All over the road. Written down Valkyr. No dumping. Well, drops trowel. Squeezes out a giant log.
Screw the rules, I got money.
Wipes ass with money.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Remember the time when we used to have ramen... What? Rami 3? The fuck's a Rami 3? Is that we get rammed in the back by like 3 dudes? Alright, what is this, a Bing bus? Who was that YouTuber who was on Bing bus and then he like couldn't get up or anything? And then he was just like a laughing stock of the prankster community. If that's even a thing anymore. Haha, you watched your friend plow a girl, what a loser. I may be a pleb, but dude, does New York actually have giant vans like this that block the whole road? It looks weird, but it looks really cool too. This moment reminds me of that game, Urban Chaos, that's it. Oh, do you think maybe the baseball bat thing that was earlier was like a reference to Batman? For rent, basement. Store for rent. Wait a minute. For rent, basement, and the store for rent they have the same phone number. They must be being sold by the same company. Call number. Hello, and thank you for calling Rent-A-Ruz. For stores, press 1. For basements, press 2. For snuff film, for snuff film studios, press 3. I couldn't get it out.
Things were fast going from bad to worse.
Well, let's get the show on the road, shall we?
The men in blue had come and gone. They had decorated the place with chalk outlines and tied it together with yellow tape. The cops who had stayed behind were dead. Frankie, his boys, and I had the place all for ourselves.
Alright, so this is just like a moment to show some badassery. We're in Act 2, so a lot of the mythological stuff has kind of dwindled down. And we're in the middle of the story. We're in the action-y part. So this whole thing is just here for show. There's not much of a mythological thing going on anymore for a while, which is not bad. It's actually like a nice break. Now we gotta go into the more noir aspects of things. This is the part where we're like, oh, this is just pure action, pure game stuff. So we're out of the exposition, we're into the rising action, and that's why this part's so great. I believe the second act is called the... Hold on, let me find it. Act 2 is called the Confrontation Act. So Act 1's a setup, this is confrontation now. I guess we're in Act 2. And I love how it starts with a nightmare too, that's great. If this was like a Final Fantasy VII remake, this would be like the second game, because you know how Final Fantasy VII did a remake and they made the part after Midgard like another game because they were so stupid that they thought that was going to be a good idea. It made money, but So Max sees that they have the place decorated with yellow tape. Police are dead. So now no police. We're still not going to meet the police at all. We can't shoot any police. They make sure we can't. It's only Frankie and his boys. Who's Frankie? Yeah, who's Frankie? Oh, Frankie Niagara, right? Yeah, Frankie Niagara is not a really good name, but Frankie is the new boss, the new head honcho. So let's see how his whole thing goes. Now this area's open for us. It was cold outside. Now that we're inside, the breath thing disappeared. See? Outside we have breath. Inside no breath. Outside breath. Inside no breath. Breath. No breath. Breath.
Australia! Oh! Here in America, we don't tolerate that kind of crap, sir!
No breath. Okay.
Just forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Hey, just forget about it. That crazy witch, you should have heard her. She was a real scream when the boys caught her trying to cap the Don. Oh, that's friggin' bad. To the trio? That's even worse than what Frankie's doing to that poor bastard downstairs. She's gonna take a long time to die.
The mobster muscle on the phone was talking about Mona. Punchinello's trio were nothing but bad news.
Alright, so now we got something called Puccinello's Trio. We're gonna see them later. But, this guy's like, oh, the crazy witch. That's Mona. You should have heard her. She was a real scream when the boys caught her trying to cap the Don. So she was trying to kill Don Puccinello, but she failed. So, I think the whole idea of drugging Max was to have him as like a distraction so that she can be like, oh, Max is captured, we got him. And then they're like, alright, run away. And then they run over and then they get him. They try to, pretty much torture him before they kill him. And that was their downfall because, they're too cocky with Max. They're like, no, you're gonna kill Max, you gotta do it hard, do it fast. You gotta kill them as the goons are trying to kill him. You can't just beat him with a baseball bat, it's stupid. But Frankie's, doing to the poor bastard downstairs. They think that's Max. It's kind of weird though. Like, why did the basement send me away from the hotel? Oh well. So he's gonna take a long time to die. He's talking about Mona. She's like, this Mona girl, she's being treated by the trio, and she's gonna take a long time to die. So the trio, we're gonna get in that later. And yeah, trio. Keep that in mind. Trio, Norn's fate. You ring. I'm out of ammo! Quick, everybody, back to the hidey hole! I mean, they're all trying to hide in the cabinet. How are you supposed to say it? Cabinet? They're in the cabinet! I love how people get blown back by the Desert Eagle. The bullet's so big, it like blows you back. One last guy, he's holding a super deadly shotgun that's not good to stop in front of. Alright, shotgun battle. Okay. I'm really low on the...
More evidence that Punchinello didn't like it much.
Well, let's check out the not-so-love letter.
The fact remains that all the victims so far identified in the Ragnarok shooting have been known criminals, many of whom had large doses of V in their blood. Reliable sources say that Max Payne was also among those killed, although no body has been recovered at this time.
Reliable sources. That meant somebody thought the Mafia had me. Didn't want the cops snooping around anymore. The body would be delivered to them barely recognizable. Case closed. Don Punchinello had the power to be that reliable source, which was no news. But his news was old news.
Alright, so this is pretty great, because now it seems that Don Puccinello doesn't want people to look for Max anymore, and they thought that he was killed. They're like, yeah, we got him. He's dead. And they're like, alright. The police, now they have the suspicion that Max is dead. They're going to be given a body that you can't recognize. And teeth are going to be broken up and shit like that, so they're going to be like, yeah, that's Max. Nobody to really identify the body, nobody who really knew him, no family that he knows, so it's like, yeah, that's the body, case closed. Alright, let's ease off of this crime stuff going on involving the Mafia. And that's a beautiful thing that Angelino is doing, because he's lying to the cops, being the reliable source to the cops, while also corrupting the cops at the same time, so that the cops can ease away from his activity. The mafia doesn't want the police after them. They don't want the cops to be snooping around. So to get them off the backs of the mafia, they say, yeah, Max is dead. Get out of here. No reason to worry about him anymore. You guys can go back to giving out parking tickets and yada yada.
Framing me hadn't been enough. Don Punchinello had put a hit on me. He wanted me dead, and it had been important enough for him to give written instructions to Frankie about it.
Max Payne should die like a dog for the trouble he's caused. Frankie, I know I can trust you to give this matter the dedication it needs.
Alright, so this is the key bit of information that reveals why you're even there in the first place. So, Don Punchinello wants Max not only blamed for the death of Balder, but also dead. And not only dead, but also tortured before he dies. Because Max was strong enough to deal with the goons, deal with Jack Lapino, kill off the Finito brothers, kill off Rico Muerte. He's like, damn, it's killing off all my boys. Alright, Frankie, you know what to do. Beat him up with a baseball bat before you kill him. He's like, sure thing, boss. You know, he's like the typical goon. So, Loki, Angelino, Puccinello, he is sending out a hit on Max. Now he's like, I want Max dead. Not only do I want his name tarnished, but because Max is a threat to us, I want him dead. So that's why you can see that Puccinello is kind of like running off scared. Because Max is not dying. So they think that he's dead. They want him to be dead. They want to say he's dead. They want everybody to think he's dead, but he's right there reading the notes. And I need gopher chucks. There's an outline of a guy from before. Remember when we barged into his room and killed a whole bunch of people? Yep, that's our outlines. There's a bunch of bullet holes everywhere. Assumed to be from Max. This is broken, even though I didn't break it. It wasn't me, saw you break the water cooler. It wasn't me, saw you break the table over there. It wasn't me, saw you break it over there. It wasn't me. Restaurant's locked. The bathroom.
What the hell?
Yeah, caught him with his pants down. Ooh. Dial 555 pussy. For all your pussy needs. I like how they have like a million posters of the same thing, like all over the place. Only in one stall, not in this one, huh? But they put it in here. Did the police put this here? Calls a number. It's just a long, 30-minute long queef. Press different numbers for different flavors or queef. Okay, I'll stop right there. That's just too much. Puccinello caught me red-handed, begging his sister-in-law. Devil's Brew. I made a Devil's Brew in the bathroom earlier. Do not disturb. And there's Frankie.
The hotel bar was fast developing quite a history. True to his words, Frankie was there, having a beer.
Jesus Christ. How the hell did you get loose?
Got bored waiting. Thought, what the hell, we could just as well finish this here.
Oh boy, 4 guys, it must be my birthday. Okay.
So you gotta take care of the goons before you take care of Frankie. He's limping. Oh, I didn't know that. I keep forgetting stuff about the game. So they have similar health meters to Max Payne. Probably the same amount of health. Do you have any grenades or something? Nope. No grenades. They
Took them when they checked out my yam bag.
I don't remember this part being that hard. I thought it was really easy when I first played it. Oh, Jesus. He did like a kickflip. Shooting his own guy. Yeah, just let him kill Niagara Falls. I'm out of juice, though.
Out of banana juice after banging all them hoes. Go!
What was that? You hear that scream? Coming, he's coming, he's coming. He's too strong for me. Oh, it's from the music. Better run away and find better cover.
I'm over here now.
Ah, he's still chasing me. Part's so hard.
Harder than my prank after I saw that Mona broad.
Oh shit. Where'd he run off to? He's over there now. He's over there where the bar is. Oh my god. He's not dying. Why won't you die? Probably gave himself a beer to heal. I wonder why Max doesn't do that. He should have done that in the third game, at least, since he's all about beer in that game. This guy's like the definition of a bullet sponge.
My wife Michelle, she was the definition of a banana juice sponge. Oh!
Little Miss Mona sat on my bona. Oh my god, he's almost dead. Perfect ending with the scream and everything. Oh my god, that was such a hard battle. My impression of Andrew Dice Clay is so terrible.
Thank you. You've been a lovely audience. Had enough? I don't play with girls anyway. Unfair!
So I guess Baseball Bat Boy gets defeated by a girl, but girl's the helmet girl, so I don't know how that really relates to Max winning. But maybe the best way to win against a femme fatale is to not even try to fight them.
I spotted the tail as soon as I left the hotel. A big black Mercedes. I'd seen the car before. That time it had heralded impressive explosions. Vladimir was back.
Bang. You're dead, Max Payne.
I might have laughed if I remembered how.
Bang, you're dead, butters. So Max leaves the area on his way to Angelino, and he sees a black Mercedes tailing him as he left the hotel. He's in some kind of weird green car. The tail comes in front of him, vroom, and then he like screeches in front of, and he says, "Oh, I've seen that car before. The last time when there was a bunch of explosions." So when Ragnarok began, that's when he saw the car. Vladimir is wearing black, and he's back. He's back in black, actually. And then he says, "Bang, you're dead, Max Payne." So he's like, I would have laughed at that if I remember how funny things are, and that wasn't funny for me because technically I am dead this whole time.
What's this supposed to be? Cops and robbers? Look, you want something with me? Get in line.
Peace, man. Relax. You know you are a real news item. Armed and dangerous. I am going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I've always wanted to say that.
It's a bum rap. I've been framed.
Well, that's a moot point. Whatever you did or did not do, I'm sure you had good reason for doing it. Want to hear me out?
I'm listening.
Alright, so now Max is being asked by Vladimir to accept an offer that Vladimir has for him. And he's like, "Oh, you know, I heard that you're really dangerous from the news." And he's like, "Well, I was framed for that whole dangerous thing." He's like, "No, doesn't matter. Either way, I know what you can do. I've seen you in action. I need your help." And he's like, "Alright, I'm listening." And that's the end of chapter 1.